Hey guys, I know it's been a while, but today I wanted to do kind of a reading wrap up. And so if you guys are totally like just out of the loop, I had my baby girl January 12th. And so I have my like labor vlog up on this channel. I can link it in the description if you missed it. But I have that up, and then I have a few vlogs since then of just like life with a newborn. She's actually 6 weeks old tomorrow, the day that I'm filming this. And so life has been super crazy, but I actually have had time to read. So whenever I'm nursing her and like in the middle of the night when I have to get up, I just read, and it's actually been really nice to have that time. But I haven't made time to make any videos about it. I think I read like 6 books in January. I've read quite a few this month already. So I kind of just wanted to go through and just kind of go over like what I've read recently and just kind of talk about it briefly and if I liked it and all of that. So I've got my Goodreads pulled up. So basically in December I read The Hero of Ages, which is the 3rd Mistborn, and it was awesome. And then I went on to the 4th Mistborn, which is The Alloy of Law, and I liked it and I gave it 4 stars, but it's nothing compared to the Mistborn trilogy. And in so many ways it just seems like a totally different series to me. It's kind of hard to explain, but I just felt like I wasn't even reading the same series anymore, basically. So I don't know, I really liked it though, but it wasn't enough for me to like be crazy about going on and reading the next one. So I'm gonna wait a little while, read some other stuff, and then eventually pick up the 5th one, because I am curious to read more. And I definitely liked how he was combining the two things and the different like it was interesting. It just, I don't know, it wasn't my favorite, I guess. So in January I had Emma, and I was really looking for light contemporary books, very light-hearted, nothing too heavy. When it's like 3 a.m. and you're woken up in the middle of the night and you're nursing, you don't want to read some super deep, dark like story or something. So I picked up a Sophie Kinsella book. I picked up a book called Remember Me, and it reminded me at first of like the movie 13 Going on 30, which I'm sure most of you have watched that movie. It starts out pretty similar to that, and she kind of gets the life she's always wanted sort of thing, but I was kind of like disappointed, like, okay, is this just like, you know, gonna be like that? But no, it was so different after a little while, and I really enjoyed it. It was just really fun. I gave it 4 stars. I really liked it. Just as a standalone, it's just nice to read like a single standalone book, and not like a big series, because I read series all the time. So from there I wanted to read another Sophie Kinsella book, so I picked up the first of the Confessions of a Shopaholic series, and it was so ridiculous. It was so silly, but I liked it. I also gave it 4 stars. It's like the stuff that the main character would get herself into was just either so unbelievable, or it was like, how do you let it get that bad? Because I am not a shopaholic at all. I don't like clothes, really. I don't care to shop for clothes. I'm definitely the girl that goes to Target and shops for a shirt or two. I'm actually wearing a Target shirt. I just am not good at accessorizing. It's just not my thing. So I really couldn't like empathize with her, but it was definitely a fun read though. I mean, because it was just so silly and it was just lighthearted and fun. Then I picked up Beautiful Disaster by Jamie McGuire. And this is, I think, like a standalone, but then I think she wrote it again and did it through the male's perspective, and I really don't have much interest in reading that. I gave this book 3 stars. I've heard a lot of things about this. I was in the mood for a romance, so it definitely delivered on the romance aspect, but it was so frustrating to read at times. The relationship I don't think was healthy for most of the book. It was very back and forth. Like the book just kept circling back around. We were like right back where we started. And so parts of it I did really enjoy. And like I said, I wanted a romance. I got a romance. But yeah, it was just okay. There were definitely a lot of problems with the book. I don't like how the guy was constantly like, I'm gonna beat up whoever looks at you the wrong way. I'm gonna go beat him up. Like I kind of got over that. I mean, I think my high school self would have liked this book more. I think if I was like 16, I'd been all over this book. And I'm just a bit more kind of over that. Like, bad boy has just, I don't know. I did like a lot of, like, I liked their friendship. I liked how their relationship in the beginning, and then like her friendship. I don't know. There were some, it was definitely like enjoyable, but it just kind of, I don't know. kind of got a little too much. And then in January, I picked up I went back to Sophie Kinsella. I picked up the second Shopaholic book. It's Shopaholic Takes Manhattan. And that one I liked less. I gave it 3 stars. It was just okay. The same problems I had with the first book were still there, but were kind of worse. And I didn't enjoy it as much. It just was kind of silly. And I kind of was just like, not, you know, I was like, okay, maybe this series isn't for me. Finished it, picked up the third one, which is Shopaholic Ties the Knot. In January, I read this as well. And again, I gave it 3 stars. So I just think it was okay. It's a fun book, but it's nothing, to be honest, it's nothing super special. It's just kind of silly, honestly. And so I'm not sure if I'm going to continue on with the series at this point. I've read 3 of them and they're just okay. And then I wanted to read a Sarah Dessen book, so I picked up in January Along for the Ride, and I really enjoyed this book. I gave it 4.5 stars. It was just so good. I don't know, I like the setting. I definitely related. The main girl ends up going to visit her dad, and her mom and her kind of have an interesting relationship. After the divorce, she goes and she's just with her mom. Well, she goes with her dad for the summer. I think he was like in Florida or someplace like that, like by the ocean. And her new stepmom just had a newborn, and the baby is colicky, and the baby cries all the time, and the mom is a mess, and she's losing it. So I definitely related being reading this book with like a 3-4 week old. Emma is a little colicky. She cries a lot. She's a very fussy baby, and so reading that, I was like, man, like, it could be worse. It could be like, she could be like this baby. And I'm very lucky to have Jake who helps, whereas like in this story, her husband did not help and stuff. So, but no, overall, it was a really good book. I definitely recommend it. This is my second Sarah Dessen book, so I have not read many of hers at all, but I definitely want to read more. Then in February, I kind of randomly thought of the Shatter Me trilogy and like how it's been, I think like 3 years since I've last read it. Just randomly picked it up. By the way, all these I read on my Kindle app on my phone, because it's really hard apparently to read with a newborn. I mean, it's hard to turn the pages and stuff, so my phone has been my friend. But I read the Shatter Me trilogy again, and sadly liked it less than the first time. I hate that when that happens, when I read series all the time and I love it just as much, if not more, than the first time. But unfortunately that did not happen this time, and I just thought it was like, I liked the series, but I wasn't as in love as the first time. So maybe it's just one of those series that it's just, that's the first time, and then kind of leave it at that. Still like a solid 4-star series. I just, yeah. Then I picked up another book by Sophie Kinsella, and it is called The Undomesticated Goddess, and it is super silly. It's a standalone, and it's about this like lawyer that gets hired to be this like housekeeper. It's just like a super silly, ridiculous situation, but it's definitely entertaining. So I started that and I'm liking it so far. But then I kind of put that on hold because this month in February, I'm actually reading my first Casey West book. And I'm reading it with the Chiclets, and it's called By Your Side. And it's about this girl that gets like stuck in this library over this like 3-day weekend with this guy. But so far it is pretty good. It's nothing like, it's not blowing my mind or anything, but it's like an enjoyable read so far. I'm only about a quarter of the way through. And that's, yeah, that's what I'm planning on reading this month, is probably just finishing those 2 contemporary books. And Wayfarer, I kind of set to the side by Alexandra Bracken. It's not that I wasn't enjoying it, but honestly, I just had Emma, and so I wasn't reading anything for like a couple weeks. And then once I started reading, I just started reading ebooks. And as I already said, it's way easier. So because of that, either I need to get the ebook for Wayfarer, or I need to only read that when Emma is like asleep, but I can have both hands, because that book's even bigger and heavier. It's a hardcover, but I do want to read that soon. But yeah, so I know this was a lot of talking and this was a lot in just one video, but you guys should let me know if you've read any of these books, if you've read any of Sophie Kinsella's books or anything. let me know in the comments section, and I would love to discuss these books with you. And I know this is kind of a weird wrap up, but I just really wanted to talk, at least spend a couple minutes talking about these books, because I have read a lot lately. I just haven't made the time to talk about them or make like reviews about them or anything. But I'm gonna go. My mom is actually out there with Emma right now. She came today to visit, so she's been hanging out with us. I cleaned the house a little, she cleaned a little, which is amazing. I'm gonna go get a little hair trim, just kind of trim the ends. And that's pretty much it. So I've been vlogging. If you guys miss my vlogs, I'll put them in the description. I know vlogs are not everyone's favorite thing. That's totally okay. I'm still gonna be doing book videos. I can't do them all the time, and it's hard to make time to sit down like this unless I do it at like midnight when, you know, Emma's asleep or something. But I need my own sleep, so it's just kind of hard to find the time. But I'm working on it. She's a month and a half old, and I'm working on it. Things are getting better. We're getting somewhat of a routine, sort of, not really. But yeah. All right. Well, thanks for watching, guys. Let me know let's talk in the comments about these books, and I will see you guys later. Bye.